That was the worst mistake I made purchasing that truck. And I will never make that mistake again.
Get it, 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 get it.
What's up, y'all? Che McFadden with Just Che LLC and Truckers Hustle. Hey, look, so today I want to talk to y'all about my experience purchasing my first truck. Okay. Lots of mistakes were made, and they're mistakes that will never be made again. That's the beauty. The only thing that's good about buying a used truck, I would say, to be able to bring you the information that you need for why you shouldn't buy one. And if you're gonna buy one, like if you're subjected to buying a used truck, like that's what you have to do. I'm gonna make sure you have all of the information that you're supposed to have before you go and do it. All right. So it was March of 2016, and I made the decision. I was like, man, I'm gonna go and get my truck, start my trucking company, and kind of let it be that. So I went through, did the inspection on the truck, so everything was okay with it, and I gotta take the truck out for a test drive and go to the bank to get the money out to pay them for the truck. I turned the truck off, and the truck won't start. And it eventually got around to starting after about 5 minutes of trying to get it started. And I brought this to their attention, and they're like, "Oh, it's the weather is cold outside, and the batteries. We could charge the batteries up in the shop and all of that." I'm like, "Okay, you know what? Cool, whatever." So I was kind of hell bent on getting this truck because this is the one that I was looking at for a while. I had saw that it passed all the things that I needed for it to pass. Okay. And it had everything that I needed for. It was a 2009 International Pro Star with a 10-speed manual engine, 10-speed manual transmission, and a Cummins ISX 15 in it. Okay. It had 597,000 miles on it, and the truck cost $52,000. Okay. Ridiculous. I shouldn't have paid no more than about $25,000 to $30,000 for the truck. Okay. The truck came from a company, kind of like, like Walmart, Celadon, JB Hunt. When those guys start getting rid of their trucks, they get rid of them at around about the mileage where they're going to start needing serious work, like overhaul, and or an end frame is what they call it. Okay. Where they pretty much break the engine down completely, all accessories, they pull them off, and they take the block and they rebuild the block. They put new sleeves in it, they reinforce it, they sandblast it, clean it up, new freeze plugs, things like that, new internals, new pistons, rods, crank, um, just a complete rebuild basically. So, I got to the point where I was like, hey, you know what? Cool, I'm gonna be in this thing for the long haul, no pun intended. I'll make the money. I can get this job done, no problem. How much is an overhaul? Well, the overhaul, including the parts and the labor, is about $30,000 to $45,000. Okay, that's why spending more than $30,000 for a used truck with more than 400 to 500,000 miles on it is kind of absurd. Okay, depending on the truck. All right, I'm seeing a lot of trucks out there right now that have somewhere between about 300, 400, 500,000 miles on them, and they're going for like 70 and 80 and $90,000. And I don't know if it's just the economy or if it's the seller of the truck selling it for that amount of money and thinking that they're going to get that amount of money for it. Okay. In trucking, it's sad. A lot of people are out for self at this point. Okay. They're out for themselves, and it can be very dog eat dog. Okay. And it sucks, man. But uh, short end of the story, I made that mistake when I purchased my first truck. All right. I didn't really look at the miles and say to myself, hey, well, wait a minute. I'm coming up on a critical, type of maintenance that all trucks must go through at some point. Okay. I really need to think about this before I buy this truck. That was mistake number one. Okay. Mistake number two, after I got the truck, I drove it all the way back from Kansas City, Missouri, back to Virginia, and ultimately had the same issue. The truck, I turned it off and I could not turn it back on. This time it would not start. And, the starter, the wire from the battery that goes to the starter was pretty much corroded all the way through. So, I don't know. I can't even remember how I got the truck started, man. I couldn't bump it or, pop it with the clutch or anything like that. I couldn't do any of that. But it took about 2 hours of just hooking cables up to the batteries and getting the truck started. And when I finally did get it started, I drove it straight to the shop and I had them fix, at the time, whatever was wrong with it. Like, go ahead and fix it. And it turned out to be that wire from that battery to the starter. Okay. The shop, should they have fixed that? Absolutely. Should they have sold it to me that way? Absolutely not. Okay. Absolutely not. But, it's a hindsight's 2020. Looking back, it's a learning experience. I would never do it again. And the moral of this story is this. Okay. Whether you're buying a used truck, car, motorcycle, anything like that, a boat, whatever, an RV, can literally be whatever, especially when it comes to a vehicle. Okay. Any vehicle that you have to register to get on the road. All right. You don't know what issues that last owner had to deal with or put up with. All right. That's the danger of, that's the danger of getting into purchasing used vehicles, period. Now, we all buy used vehicles and we all choose to either ride on that warranty that may be available, or we say, like in my situation, hey, you know what? I know it's going to be an issue. I'll take care of it. It's no problem. But that should only go but so far. Okay. That goes but so far when it comes to dealing with used vehicles. Okay. But that was the worst mistake I made purchasing that truck. And I will never make that mistake again. Okay. Now, you might be asking, well, Che, if we're going to purchase a truck and, we decide we want to purchase a used truck, who are the types of folks that are purchasing a used truck versus a new truck? All right. I'm going to tell you, the people that are buying used trucks are the same people that don't have longevity vested in trucking. What I mean when I say that is they don't plan on doing it for long. Okay. They plan on doing it for anywhere from a couple months up to a year. And even if you're doing it for that short amount of time, you're not going out here buying a truck, y'all, period. You might rent one. And even if you rent one, it's kind of absurd to do it. Okay. If you plan on staying in trucking for a couple months to a few months to a year, you're probably just going to go and drive for a company anyway. All right. It mitigates a lot of that responsibility, a lot of the red tape when it comes to making sure taxes are right, making sure your articles of organization are the way that they should be. A lot of things like that. Okay. But yeah, a used truck, Che McFadden, never again. I will never do it again. All right. And fast forward to when I got ready to get rid of that truck and get into my brand new truck, the 2017 Lone Star, the black one that's in the intro and the outro video and the profile label and all of that. I purchased that truck brand new back in 2017 and I still own it today. I eventually got around to selling the white Pro Star and I got into that one. And it was the best decision I had ever made, man. Best, because I'm getting into a new vehicle. I know nobody's had issues with it. Okay. And if anybody has had problems with it, that's not even a factor. If I have problems with it, it's covered by a manufacturer's warranty that's good for at least 5 years. Okay. Now let's talk about that 5-year thing. That's a critical number. Okay. Most of your trucking companies out here, whether it's your big time like Walmart, Celadon, JB Hunt, Swift, okay, Knight Transportation, all the big companies, 5 years is the typical amount or typical duration of time for them to stay on a truck that they purchase if they purchase it brand new. Okay. Think about it. In 5 years, you can average somewhere between about 100 to 120,000 miles if you are running. Okay. If you're running 100,000 miles to 120,000 miles per year is very common. Okay. Now, 5 years, 120,000 miles, do the math on that, that's 600,000 miles, right? Now, the way they've been building these new engines, whether it's Cummins or Detroit, I'm not even going to say Max Force, man, but Cummins and Detroit, the big hitters right now, them and your PACCAR Motors and things like that. All right. Those companies are building these engines a certain kind of way. Now, from what I understand, you're supposed to be able to get about 700 to 800,000 miles out of these engines before you have to do what's known as an overhaul. I might have mentioned overhaul in this video. I can't remember, but 800,000 miles on an original engine from that truck. There's no rebuild that's been done or anything like that. That's the driver or the company having kept up with the maintenance on the appropriate schedule, putting the right oils and the right fluids in the engine, not running the truck in a way that's going to run it into the ground within 400 to 500,000 miles. Okay. 800,000 is apparently that new number right now. Okay. So in saying that, I say that to say this. All right. Any company, any big time company that's purchasing new trucks right now are probably going to be staying on them for about 7 years, 6 to 7 years on average at this point. Okay. So just keep that in mind. When you purchase a used truck, 9 times out of 10 is coming from a company that has had it for a long time and they got their use out of it and they got rid of it because they knew they were coming up on that critical phase of maintenance. Guess what? You buy that used truck at that point, you're going to be within that window of having to do that critical phase of maintenance within the first few months to 1 year of owning it. Okay. Keep that in mind, man. That's very important. That's kind of like what I started running into when I got my truck. I mean, granted, I had, my first truck, I had EGR issues, coolant issues, things like that. It was time for a rebuild. It just straight up. Okay. And EGR and DEF and all of that, you can start talking about bypassing and all of that, which is extremely illegal. You shouldn't do it anyway. But, just things, those are the main things to keep in mind when you go out here and you say, hey, look, I'm going to buy a truck and start my own trucking company. All right. Buy a used truck. You're going to have some problems. You're going to have some problems. I don't care what anybody tells you. You're going to have issues. The main thing that you should look at, make sure the tires are good, make sure the brakes are good, make sure the suspension is good, the shocks, the airbags, things like that. Make sure the fifth wheel is good, the airlines, the pigtail to hook your lights up, make sure all the lights work, make sure the windows are good, they roll up and down, the mirrors, make sure they're fine, make sure there's nothing on the body that's going to fall off, no excessive rust on the frame, no fresh metal. I know I'm rambling, I'm throwing a lot of stuff out here, but these are the things that you're going to be looking at when you do your pre-trip and post-trip inspection, okay? And you buy a truck and one of those items are some kind of screwed up, something that can put you out of service, you're going to be upside down in a very short amount of time. The goal is to not get upside down starting your own trucking company, man. And especially when you're first starting out. Okay. The first year in trucking should be it's not going to be your most profitable year, but your first year is going to be the best year for your write-offs and things like that. So if you have those repairs that you have to do, it's very important to, keep tabs of them. I hate saying for people to keep receipts. Keep some kind of log of the purchases and the repairs that you're doing on that truck. Okay. Especially the first year is critical. All right. In summary, try not to buy a used truck. If you plan on staying in trucking, if you plan on getting into trucking and stand with it for years to come, bite the bullet and buy your truck brand new. Okay, it'll save you headache. You'll have time to run. You'll be on the road all the time. There won't be any downtime or anything like that. You won't have to worry about the truck being in the shop or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. You won't have any of those issues to worry about. And if you do have them, the manufacturer's warranty or the dealership warranty should cover it. And you shouldn't have any issues, man. That right there should be the one reason that you say, I'm okay, cool. I'm going to go and I'm going to get a new truck. All right. I'm just trying to make sense of it for you. Now, if you know somebody that owns a truck and, you know them personally and, they've done work and all of that to the truck. And I mean, you're close to them and you decide you want to buy it used off of them. Okay. Have at it. Cool. Likely they'd be willing to help you if something went wrong or happened to the truck. Versus somebody, you live in Maryland and you're buying it off of somebody in Colorado or something like that, and you don't know them from Joe or whoever, but you get out there, you get the truck and you're stuck with it and you need to figure it out. The last thing you want to do is be on the side of the road, man, within the first month or week or two of after having purchased your truck, and now you're spending money and you get into this endless loop of borrowing money. You're borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, and then you're trying to catch up, and you're getting closer and closer, but then a tire blows and now you're back behind again. It's not worth it, man. So don't make those mistakes. I'm Che McFadden, Just Che LLC, Truckers Hustle. I appreciate y'all, man. If you gained anything from this video, please like, subscribe, share it with other people that are aspiring to be truck drivers. Okay, I'm really trying to put the right kind of information out there and help this trucking industry make sense to you, because there's a lot of people that are putting information out that might not really be as helpful as it could be. Not throwing shots at anybody or anything like that, but if you want it real, I'm going to give it to you real, 100%. All right. Stay tuned. Keep an eye out for the next one that's coming. I don't know what it's going to be on. There's so much about trucking, man. It's going. Just subscribe, like, and I'll holler at y'all. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Get it, 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 hey, get it, get it, get it, hey, get it, get it, get it, get it, yeah, get it, get it on my soul. Ain't no letting